Guten Morgen. My name is not Michael Caine, but I am in fact one of the Bush family members, what is the Nazis that come out of Germany, at the end of the wars, and they insert themselves into the American presidency. So this is number 3 of the story about the families that they were called the Scherf family, and it's spelled S-C-H-E-R-F-S, and with Martin Bormann, with Scorzerny, the massively tooled up assassin for Hitler, who was his bodyguard, Scorzerny, and then one other person, Joseph Goebbels, travelled out of Europe with the Bush family, and they called themselves Scherfs, so that the Bush family name could be legitimately used without any affiliation to the Nazis. All of them are nicknames for them, and it is massive. And there is the videos, there is the declaration that the Queen Elizabeth II is 18 degrees cousins of Minnie Sorrell, and that is Martin Sorrell, who with Princess Anne, who's pictured on the Olympic Organisation Heist Committee, with Martin Sorrell, with Nick Clegg, with David Beckham, all of them made millions from the London Olympics, where they shared the joke about the Mr. Bean being the war correspondent for Gallipoli. And I think there might be no pictures of that. This woman I have loved for nearly 7 years, and I've exposed all of her deepest secrets, but some of them I've just found out in the last 10 minutes. And her mate Mandelson owns an island which is used for love affairs for Mandelson, who's a gay boy, and his lover's name will be revealed in a few minutes. Okay, there she is. This is her on Charlie Rose's chat show, and all of the people that she writes novels about are actually on the American Little Sis Business website, profiling the powers that be. And you should see what I've discovered. So, if you want to know Mandelson's story, and you want to know about her love life with the people that she writes about and makes interviews with Charlie Rose with, oh God, sorry, it's not going to let me dub on her. She's lovely, really. And she takes the fall for the rest of the family, who are all over the Little Sis website as profiteers in the Clinton cartel. Oh God. Sorry. There she is. Lovely looking woman. She's got a little bit of that Dorian Gray complex, and she was lovelier when I first, and certainly was a lot lovelier the day I met her in her sunglasses. Yeah, watching the militias from Tring and Hertfordshire pretending to be Russian and to be horse hussars on the back of the Pisa horse at the agrarian fair that is the Kelso show. Okay, and she's lovely and she's tiny, but all of her mind is dedicated to the tiny tricks that mean that all of them are billionaires. And she is asking for public funding for the National Gallery in this interview, and there are the costs of getting into her privately owned mansion in Tring, how Prince Andrew shared a room at the Epstein's Caribbean hideaway and all of them become sex criminals. Yeah, and that is even the launch of the new policemen in Scotland. They have to have a coercible sex crime before they can be made the bosses. So, there's the little James, little cis website, but what do we want to find? There's all the ancient history of our family, and I was going to play it to the public, but that is how Archie Rosebery became the Prime Minister of England, and his wife died of a lethal cancer, and I think he's alleged at that time to have been the first Gentile man to marry into Lady Hannah Mayer Amschel Fitzroy's born Rothschild's bloodline, and that is the Orcafat Hannah Rothschild that was married to Archie Rosebery, and he was the boss at the in Scotland. He's got 13 or 14 massive mansions all over the country, all over Hertfordshire, all the way up the Forth River Valley, and I think he might even own the House of Shaws in the Robert Louis Stevenson output. And there is another ownership tool for them, and that is the Bank Figli in Naples, the National Bank, and that is the stealing of the 5 Arrow banks by all that family. But what I've discovered this morning is much more sensational than that, because her ex-husband, Hannah's ex-husband, is Brookfield, and he's all over the little cis website too. And it's absolutely amazing how much money they're prepared to spend on defending the scams, and you should see the little cis website for that. So let's try and find out how much it costs to get into Wadsden Manor. There it is. Yeah, she's saying to the world in that interview with Charlie Rose that she wants help from the government to fund the massive mansions that they run, and her National Gallery. She allows people in there for free. So I went to Wadsden Manor. I discovered that they have adverts, that they run 6-hour tours, and there is the pricing structure for the tour. £220 per person. That's over £1,000 if you have a family of 5 like me, and she used to have before Brookfield became a secret mafia member on the little cis website. He's nowhere else in the public eye. Yeah, and even Watto is clean. It's good that she's writing about that and the images that he creates, but the other characters in her stories are businessmen on the little cis web pages. Okay, let me show you that before we move on to anything else. Okay, so there is the little James. It's a 70-acre island in the Caribbean, and if I keep pressing, it's owned by billionaire money manager, registered sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, in the world owning bloodlines, and the leadership staff are both called Alexander. The other affiliations are to affairs that Prince Andrew, Duke of York, had on Little St James's Island, and that is St James's Place for the Rothschild directorates. Do you get it? Okay, and that is the place where her favourite politician, that is Mandelson, goes and has his gay affairs with the people that are named on the little cis website, and it's really revealing, Jim Fetzer. You should go there somewhere. There he is. Yeah, that's Peter Mandelson, that she spouts on about being the most naughty politician in Britain. And then if we keep going back, we'll find her references to the covers up of the rest of her literary output. No results found. Watto, no results for him. Hannah Rothschild, yeah, Rick Capital Partners. Her family are William Brookfield, husband passed, Jacob Rothschild, 4th Baron Rothschild, father 62 to question mark, as if he might already have popped them. And then there's our wee brother that is my mate, if he is really the body double, Nathaniel Philip Victor James Rothschild, son of 4th Baron Rothschild of Austria and Shimon Peres's Israel. And there is Hannah Rothschild, Hannah Mayer Rothschild, Hannah de Rothschild, the richest woman in Britain, after inheriting her father's fortune in 1874. So that could be the one that died in Naples. Hannah Mathilde Rothschild and Adele Hannah Charlotte Rothschild. And there's no results for Hannah Rothschild on that search. And there is Hannah Rothschild Ednam House, and there is the Canadian Pacific Railway. So what we're missing is the links between her and Mandelson, and I think the other little sis. Let's go to the end and see how far we go. Oh no, it's not going to let me track it. Yeah, it's not going to let... Oh. Click to go forward. Oh, so this is amazing. That is... Sorry, it's not even going to let me reveal the secrets of intel at the White House. Okay? Military intelligence industrial complex, page after page after page, and there it looks like a neurological map of the brain and the cortical structures. Yeah, and all of it is just absolutely crooked. That's the military intelligence industrial complex on the web pages for Little Sis, profiling the powers that be. And if you open up, all of the usual suspects that are in there, Bill Clinton, Dick Cheney, the Bush family members that are the sheriffs that were the Nazis, yeah, into the end of World War II. Yeah, and that is them now being established in Vesuvius, their massive mansion in Maine, in America. Okay, let me show you how big this is. Yeah, and Hannah's quite an innocent person really, but we've not yet found her boyfriend in there, her other lovers that she's... Oh no, I'd better leave it on that site in case. So if I were to go there and keep going back, we might find her. There's the Bairds and all the folk that are related to the Bush family. There's the Queen's Barrack Gold Corporation, and the people that are Hearts Football Club, and everybody that ends up being the chancellors of the universities, and all of them are virtual products, fraudsters. MP for Ottawa West Nepean, Canadian Minister of Transport, and there's Brian Mulroney, former Conservative Prime Minister, Nathaniel Philip Victor James Rothschild, and this is Barrack Gold's boards. We've done all of this before. There's Newt Gingrich, former Speaker in the White House, and there is Hannah's romantic stories, and there are dozens of them. Yeah, Elonius Monk is the person that she rants on about in those endless interviews, making her look like a civilized person instead of the cheat and the stealer that she is. Yeah, that's the name of the characters in her love stories, yeah, are used to obfuscate the actual mafias in the powers that be. Yeah, and there's loads of monks to be chosen from. Yeah, and that's why she's divorced her husband. He brings down the rainforests globally, and is a massive financial entity. There is not one picture of that man in global history. Yeah, and she's begging for funding from the government that gets no funding from the banks globally, because Rothschild have stolen every federal funding vent. Yeah, and they now charge for what they issue to the Chancellor, and that Chancellor has now replaced Osborne, because Osborne is on their boards for the Future of Russia Foundation, and everything that should that should belong to the indigenous peoples, but all of them have been assassinated. Yeah, that's the original SARS that are now the dead policemen in the Sydney Street Siege, where they trained Stalin. And Hannah's lovely to listen to, and she's tiny and harmless when you meet her in the flesh. And I've now got a lot more to chat about. Let's see how many monks there are in the powers that be on the Little Sis website. Geoffrey W., Anthony Monk, Walter Monk, Hans Monk Nielsen, to cover Connie Nielsen being the Nielsen woman is the second husband of young Nathan Rothschild. Isn't it clever? And that is Connie Nielsen, the beautiful actress that plays the Emperor's daughter in the Gladiator movie. And all of it are my favourites, and Hannah is my favourite since I became a political activist. Yeah, and the women in the clans, they get next to nothing for their cover-ups. Yeah, and it's £200 a day to be in their Jewish mansion that has all of Jesus' holy relics in it. And Jesus never lived, and the whole of their lives is a lie, but it makes them the world's richest people and the world-owning bloodline ever since they could read and write and carry a sword. Hans Monk Nielsen is a member of the OMX board. Yeah, maybe not anything to do with the Oxbridge and the Oxenford scandals that have been in the news this week. He served as senior executive. Yeah, do you get it? The Nielsen woman that gets her tits out was married to young Nathan Rothschild of Switzerland. Peter Monk. Yeah, and I think those are the persons that were the subjects of the Rothschild love life in her novels. Next, and it's all Leviathan. There is the James Shin character, lecturer at Princeton, yeah, where the man that was in charge in World War I extended the war by 2 years because they coerced him into that. And that is the Shin that means that the British Empire has been turned into a mafia operation, and it means that the Queen of England, after she was born and beyond World War II, she is the cousin, biologically, of Adolf Hitler. She's the daughter of Winston Churchill, and Winston Churchill is the motherfucking cousin of his enemy in the war too. That is Hitler, Rothschild, through the Alois bloodlines and everything that happens, and I've got their pictures there. Yeah, that is Alois Hitler, father to Adolf, and that one there is Clara Hitler. 4 months later, the first child, Gustav, was born, and Ida, and I've got all of it charted out all over my web pages and my OneNote profiles. Okay, so there's Hannah, and there are the covers for the Bush family bloodline. That is Howard, and that one there, that buffoonish looking one, he's extremely intelligent with numbers, and you can see his graphs and equations on the back, His name is Sheldon, and that is the evil father, great-great-grandfather of George Herbert and George Herbert Walker Bush. George Walker Bush and George Herbert Walker Bush, his father. And his nickname is Popia, because all of them are descended from Rome, and that is why the home is called Vesuvius. And there is the cover for the Duke of Norfolk, that is the Howards of Norfolk, and were the best friends and deserters of Sir Thomas More, who got his head cut off because he would not let Henry VIII behead any more women, so that he could have a viable male child. Yeah, and the bloodlines that we were interrogating the other day, the joke there is that the Scherf family tree is led by a person that died at birth. Yeah, born to die. They are not born to die, they are born to kill, as the leading Nazis in the regime. That's why they became the president. And all of it is planned by Rothschild all over the world, and all sides are funded by them, in inverted commas, to bankrupt the countries and let the Rothschilds start everything back from the base, with all the gold bricks in the vaults, even in Switzerland, which is strictly neutral and runs those gold bricks in the ambulances. Okay, so that's Sheldon, Cooper and Howard. That little blonde one there is Penny, and that little Indian one is relatively anonymous, because that is the whole of Asia that belongs to them, thanks to the Sassoons and the 2000-year Opium War. Where is Hannah's little speech? I'd love you to hear. I'd better not play it, but take my word for it, she worships and loves the monk characters that she writes into her novels. Yeah, and she loves Mandelson, and let's take you back to the headlines in the Daily Mail. How Prince Andrew shared a room at Epstein's Caribbean hideaway with a busty blonde who claimed she was a brain surgeon. Yeah, and there is Prince Harry and the Archbishop of Canterbury, and I have not put them there. That is so that they can copyright my video. That is the Archbishop of Canterbury that is christening Commoner Kate's daughter yesterday, and that is all the stuff that is in the news. But you never learn that the Archbishop of Canterbury is the son of Winston Churchill's private secretary, and he launches the Guelph versus Ghibelline wars once again, because he is an elf oil company magnate. This video file cannot be played, error code. It's nothing to do with me, I did not put it there. They put it there so that on the Putlocker website they can put all the porn on that the authors of the videos are condemned to have to show as they make the videos. There is the sex criminal on that little island, yeah, and Mandelson goes there, and his lover is a boyfriend for a laugh. Poor Hannah, she's got no husband, he's been disappeared, he's brought down the rainforests, and he's a massive billionaire. Okay, so let's go down and find out what the boyfriend's name is for her greatest political hero. There is the mansions. Paradise Retreat, Little St James, a private 72 makes 9 for the Freemasons, acre island, 3 miles off the east coast of St Thomas's, Doubting Thomas in the Bible, in the US Virgin Islands, owned by American billionaire and sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein. And there is a lovely looking jet black woman that could be in Camilla's story, but I doubt it. Like, yeah. And the island guest, model Naomi Campbell, stayed as a guest on Epstein's Caribbean island. Do you get the fact that all of the ultra skinny catwalk women are there because the Duke of Northumberland's brother, yeah, was the elder brother, and he used to date the supermodels. Yeah, that is Henry Percy, who was murdered by Algernon Percy so that he could take over the title of the Duke of Northumberland. Okay, and that's Little St James's, and for Hannah's family, that is the laugh that all of their corporates are at St James's Place, and that is St James's Palace for the Windsors, and on it goes. Okay, so let's find Mandelson, the gay boy. There he is. Isn't it lovely? Friends in high places. Lord Mandelson, yeah, everybody is titled and entitled to take the piss out of the world's poor people. Friends in high places. Lord Mandelson has also vacationed on Epstein's Island. And there's Prince Harry's girlfriend. She was tall, bleached blonde, and had big boobs. They shared a room and spent most of their time on the beach, windsurfing, sailing, or doing other water sports. And this is archived for the powers that be, because all of them get to do it. The Prince's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, who became embroiled in the Epstein controversy last week when it was revealed that she had accepted 15,000 grand, yeah, £15,000 from the sex offender to pay her debts. Visited once with her daughters. Loads of people came and went. Others who passed through include Naomi Campbell, who arrived for 2 days with what Miles and Kathy called her coffin, a huge oversized trunk filled with clothes or maybe gold bricks. Yeah, where is the boyfriend story for Hannah's great hero? Lord Palumbo, the former Arts Council chairman. That's the art galleries and the National Gallery that she is begging for funding from the government, most of which resigned yesterday because their story is now out. David Davis started the surge to resign along with Boris Johnson. Massive mobsters and religious fraudsters since the Battle of the Boyne. Sir Richard Branson was surprised to find themselves listed in a contacts books owned by Jeffrey Epstein, and coercion and bribery is everything that counts, Hannah. It's really disappointing that I cannot find one innocent person to support my cause. There are also numbers for the influential Rothschild family, including Sir Evelyn de Rothschild, the Queen's advisor, and the wife of Lynn Forrester, which is the Windsor Forest joke. The list included 16 numbers for Prince Andrew under his title Duke of York. Where is Mandelson? And the writers cover the Reuters organisation, and Bill Clinton's on it. I think I'm just going to look for Mandelson on the index, and then we can get on with the rest of the story. Mandelson. Okay, Lord Mandelson, there's one and there's only 2 references. And this Peter Mandelson holidayed there with his long-term boyfriend Ronaldo. Isn't it lovely? That is them using Lionel Messi to cover the fact that Lionel Nathan Rothschild is the father of 9 of Queen Victoria's 11 babies. 10 of them are bastards, and they murdered the only legitimate one, because that is allowing them to be the illegitimate monarchs. Yeah, and that was Orcafat Edward VII, and he murdered Marcus Manuel so that he could become the king, but instead God killed him within about 5 weeks of the murder. Yeah, holidayed there with his long-term boyfriend Ronaldo, who suffered sunburn and whined about it like a baby, says Kathy. That's the legendary footballer for Real Madrid, and that is how they use the celebrities all across the world, and that is why those celebrities become famous. But both Ronaldo and Messi are extremely gifted footballers, but they've not allowed them to win the World Cup this year because the gods are looking down on them differently now. It's absolutely crooked. Okay, so I'm gonna move back to the Little Sis website and show you the state of the world. Yeah, do you get it? The Shin is designed to make the British Empire a mafia operation. Yeah, and that is still the thingaby state that is the nation of America. All of its taxes, right up to 2050, go to the Queen in England. Yeah, and all of the politicians are just slaves. And that's Princeton that extended the war, yeah, by 2 years because of the coercion of the president at that time. Okay, and that is the person that they refer to in the Blackadder comedies, yeah, as the really clever person from Oxford that is going to extend the war, stop the war this year in 1917. Okay, and let's now see what we go find. So there's the monks that are the the loving people that are in the romantic novels that Hannah writes and distributes and talks about on the chat shows. I don't think we can go any further back on that one, it seems. Forward, forward, forward. Oh, and there's the boards that we've already found. That's Nathan Philip Victor James, son of the 4th Baron, who is Jakub. Yeah? And there's the other folk that lead to the Bush bloodline and marry into them. Yeah, and I don't think I'm going to be able to find any of those other things. But this is the military intelligence industrial complex. That is intel and spying globally, so that no one can have a life. Yet all of it is led by deceit, telling lies and coercing people, and that's why they get their jobs there. And that's why the politicians get their jobs, and that's why they end up in jail, Norman Pender and Hoyk. So, let's just zoom in and see if you recognise any of the mugshots. Yeah, it's mountainous, and you now understand that everything goes back to the Pisos, like the naming of those Alexanders, and Ronaldo, and the Reniers, yeah, the first of the papal bloodlines. Sorry. White House office is right at the top of the industrial complex. US House of Representatives, US Senate, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, US Department of Defense, Google Inc., run by Jimmy Wales and the mind control experts. Up we go. Symantec, Google Inc., Amazon.com Inc., General Dynamics, Armed Forces Communications and Electronics Associations, Apple, for the now dead Bible joker that is Steve Jobs, and that is Jobs in the Bible, God's favourite person. And none of them see the dangers. Okay, IBM for Bill Gates, he's no longer the richest man on this earth. I don't know why I can't scan around on it. but it's quite embarrassing for the powers that be to reveal this as being a massive money stream for everybody that leads it. I don't know how we get to move around it. Oracle, that's the Forbes Rich Listers, that is the cover for the Blackpool MP. That is the Forbes Rich Lister Oracle is Harold, is covered by the MP for Blackpool story, and it's just totally pathetic. And I can't get it to scan around, so we cannot look elsewhere. Okay, there's Rand Corporation for the Irishman in Higginsville, the papal place that won the Grand National, and that is Randox were the sponsors for it. Director of National Intelligence, Open Society Foundations, Podesta, yeah, and I've just discovered that, I've just remembered rather, that Todesco is also the naming of UNESCO. That is the Austrian master race families that were stripped of their titles, and now they are the international institutions. Yeah, like the massive joke that the NATO is the joke about Sol Natalus Invictus, the sun god that has been totally replaced. And there's Podesta group for the Austrian nobility. National Terrorism Seminar, Counter-Terrorism Seminars, yeah, and that is the people that bring down their own twin towers. Yeah, and that's just the first row. It is Montanus. Yeah, and I don't know how you're supposed to scan around on it. I think they might be embarrassed if you were allowed to. No, let's go back and find some more interesting things on that website. Okay, so there is the Clinton cartel. Yeah, and they're not going to let me go there this time. Yeah, there is no internet connection. I've just started with my new card, and they're not going to let us show the Clinton cartel on the thingy. Let's try again. Because God usually manages to persuade the administrators at those places that it is unwise to try and block access once something has been uncovered. No internet connection. Okay, so we're going to have to talk about something else, but we'll not be able to open anything else. So I'm going to have to go to my yeah, and there are the massive stories about the Norman conquest and all the families that descend from King William the Conqueror, Maud, daughter of Baldwin, Count of Flanders. Okay, and up there you can see Huggins Haig and all of the people in the borders that become Butcher Haig, and they become eventually the Emma Sale family. Yeah, and there's Sale right below them. Okay, and there's Lord Hullock, and that is men behaving badly on the Isle of Man, right up opposite the Cumbrian people that are the first relatives, and that is the Ducats that have been extending this morning. That is the name of the people that are on there. So there is William Ducat, and there are the Ducats, and there are where they come from. John Ducat of Greyrig, all of that is Cumbria, and that is where the babies were born for Queen Victoria, in Carlisle Castle. Yeah, and there's the ducats descending from the William the Conqueror's armies under already Margaret de Windsor. Yeah, and that is my friend, or my former friend, yeah, and my former boss, Trevor Jones, who's a forged rich lister. He now pretends that he is a ducker, and that is Trevor Jones's body double, or actually him, in the Jehovah's Witnesses at Kelso. And you should see what I discovered on the families that are, oh, we cannot go there. Yeah, isn't that terrible? And they are able to take down the oil company that had both Nathan Jr. and Lord Jacob Rothschild on it, that is the Genie Company. They share the directorship of that with Dick Cheney and all the war criminals that I've been talking about in the last few days. Yeah, but not the Bushes on that one. They are on the other scams like Clinton and Guistra, and all of it is selling coupons and shares. There is no product. Everybody gets scammed by it, and that is declared by Peter Eyre, who's passed on just this very week. But I don't think we'll be able to get the internet access back. Yeah, you see, that was absolutely coincident with me taking you onto the Clinton cartel, and they're allowed to proclaim that. That is Bill Clinton, the half-brother of the Queen of England, who is the cousin of Adolf Hitler, who's a Rothschild too. And all of it is because of Lionel Nathan Rothschild's ID and his role in the siring of Victoria's babies. Right then, so let's stay on here and see what else we can find for you. So there is the some of the shoemaker joke for Rowan Atkinson, and that is Ducker and Son. Yeah, the relatives of the earliest Norman kings and queens. Yeah, not queens, because they were not allowed in France. Yeah, that's why in The Lion in Winter, the Queen has to come from France, and she has to spend her Christmas in jail. And everybody that celebrates Christmas should really be in jail, because it's the biggest fraud in world history. Okay, there's the ducat gene tree. And let me show you Atkinson's shoe shops. Yeah, total fascists. And there is the information that Queen Victoria is the cousin of the Duvals, the Ducats. Yes, John Ducat, Samuel Ducat, James Ducat, and then right at the top you've got Mrs. Simpson. It's lovely, and all of them are unclean and sex maniacs and hermaphrodites, and nothing is correct. Yeah, nothing that they do is actually released to the world, which is why my internet access has failed me within 2 days of starting to use my second device. Yeah. So, and there's got the tree with the wow, and there is, yeah, Carrie Fisher. She's in the Queen's bloodline too, which is why the Star Wars team are now losing. Yeah, Carrie Frances Fisher, and her ancestors are from Russia, but they're not Mary of Teck. That's Joseph Tish and Edwin Jack Tish, Zelig Winocour, not Windsor at that stage, William Granville Reynolds, James Jefferson Reynolds, and that is Mary Frances Reynolds, the mother. I forget what her married name is as the actress, but they died the same week. They were the lovers of Harrison Ford, and that is for the Austrian nobility, the von Kimball dynasty in Austria. And the Harpers of Canada are in the bloodline. And it tells you at the bottom of those trees exactly how close they are to. And when I found the one for on the other computer for Sorrel, it caused a massive ruckus, because a woman called Minnie Sorrel from Argentina came into the pub to meet me that night, and she offered herself to me. And she lives up in the mountains, up near Glams, and all of it is a massive scam. Yeah? And Sorrel acid strips the Olympics. His company is wire and plastic, and that is the fencing on the death camps. But they're not death camps for those sad bastards, because all of them are immune. And that takes us back to the family tree. And I think we might have encountered on the family tree for Bush, yeah, that is, we might have encountered Mr. and Mrs. Colditz already in yesterday's video. Yeah, and you get every fascist icon that that woman wears. She's got the devilish horns on her head, and she's got the swastika limbs, yeah, on there. And what we found on the bloodline yesterday is that tapping is the actual process of tapping the world's wealth, and that's the reason why the comedies are made about, oh, Mr. Porter, his name is Will Hay, and that is the Hays that owned Kinfawns before Anne Gloag did. Okay, so and I just wish I could find that statement that Carrie Fisher, there it is, okay. Andrew is 21 degrees from Loretta Corbin. You might have heard of that in a political entertainer context. Yeah, that is the lead Muppet show for socialism now. 22 degrees from Carrie Fisher, 20 degrees from John Steinbeck, and 18 degrees from Queen Elizabeth II. Windsor on our single family trees. That is thanks to Mrs. Stinking Sex Maniac War Boys Hermaphrodite, that is Mrs. Simpson from America. Okay, and one of them up there is, there's Casey of the FBI. Oh, what's happening? It's not going to open. Elizabeth is 42 degrees from Wendy Sullivan, 15 degrees from Victoria of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and 20 degrees from the Russian names that no one can read, which is really clever, since they killed the Russian Tsar, yeah, and replaced them with the owner of Hearts Football Club. Elizabeth Casey, formerly Duckett, in the royal family bloodlines, since Windsor Forest was built around Windsor Castle, which is the same design as Farley's Castle, and that becomes the Thunderbirds base on the island. Okay, Casey, Elizabeth Casey, formerly Duckett, in Maryland, and all of it is biblical. Right? Tree, wow, Windsor, aliases. Yeah, we've done that. Stephen W. Waters Duckett, Casey of the FBI, Hawkins SS. Sarah Hawkins, formerly Duckett, Grey, Ontario, Canada. William Luther Hawkins. Yeah, sorry, we're not getting, and there's the people that become, I think, the Russian menace. Yeah, that's Pushkin and the families that then become the communist menace that have to be killed. Yeah, and that's the communists that come in and shoot the Tsar and his family to allow Romanov, Nikolaevich for the death camps, hyphen Rothschild, to take over a Hearts football club. Oh no, I've not even got the camera on that. Okay, Osip Abramovich, yeah, do you recognise that from the Chelsea scams? Yeah, all of them are related to the British Royals. And in Cumbria, that is the German folk that are Harvey Keitel, and Harvey becomes the rabbit that the humans speak to on this earth when they are God's representatives, like Steve Jobs. Yeah, and there's no one identifiable on that tree until we get to Ganable and Cameroon. Osip Abramovich Ganable. Yeah, that's the Abramoviches of Chelsea. And there's the Osip genes. Christine Regina Hannibal, Abraham Petrovich Hannibal, and they are the goddess. Oh no, I thought it was Cybele. Sorry, this is hopeless without any form of access to the internet, and that's why they've shut it, because those show pictures of the Rothschilds, and that one shows pictures of the Rothschilds, and those ones show you that's the Boston bombing issues that allowed them to take the pictures of the Boston bombing off that. If I click to take it back to the Boston bombing, no, it's Battle of Quatre Bras. Yeah, that's the swastika sign and the four limbs on the and I've got the tapping video ready so that you can see what the joke is for the tapping family that are on the Bush Sheriff bloodline, and takes you to the Vicar of Dibley as explained yesterday. And all the body doubles were in the pubs last night, and all of them were going hoo hoo, hoo hoo, and all of them know it, because the shin is supposed to be known by the know-nothings, and that's declared at the beginning of the articles we cited yesterday. Hugh Laurie, yeah, we cannot now go down and see who else went to the Dragon School, but we got to Hugh Laurie, Sir John Mortimer, we got to the Queen's administrators, Ed O'Brien, Julie Opie, Stephen Oppenheimer, and the launch of the bomb. Yeah, he was born in 1947 when everybody was free of risk. Tom Penny, Ronnie Fulton Palmer, killed in the First War. Yeah, these are the attendants at the Dragon School in Oxford, all of whom are educated to learn that Jesus never lived, and that's why it's called the Dragon School, because Jesus is the dragon. Okay, there's the Dissellen Courts, Nicholas Shakespeare, David Shukman, Henry Shukman, Neville Shute, Sir John Slessor, Marshal of the Royal Air Force, which is why they had fly-pasts yesterday, Timothy Sprigg, John Stallworthy, Robin Stevens, children's author, Rory Stewart. Yeah, I just wish I could click on that, but they will not allow me to access the internet. Let's see if I can reverse that by plugging it in directly. To this computer. Yeah, best not give up without a fight, Queenie. Yeah, the fine long innings. So that is the device that was only switched on. It gives me 2 weeks access to the internet. It was only switched on 2 days ago. Yeah, and it's broken down just as we begin to declare the ownership of Windsor Palace and Windsor Forest. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, formerly a Hewitt, and part of the making of the royal bloodline illegitimate. Yeah, because Hewitt is the father of Prince Harry, who's now extended the size of his ears. Yeah, since the wedding, which is why he has had a little period of interregnum, so that they can get his ears appearing bigger without it alarming anybody. And there's the Tolkiens that wrote the novels that allow them to depict every character in those novels as the covers for the war criminals. Yeah, that's Gimli is the nickname for the president of Norway, and his real name is it's traitor Quisling. Then you've got third Baron Tweedsmuir, that is the owner of the Daily Express, that is Beaverbrook, and Hitler's and Churchill's and Roosevelt's massive friend in the premeditated warmongering profiteering. Third Baron Tweedsmuir, for a time married into the Kerr family lineage, that is the Duke of Roxburgh and Guy Innes Jesus Kerr. Yeah, Sir Reginald Tyrwhitt, Sir Wally Cohen, and the ownership of Tedesco and Tesco's, and the fullback for the England football team, and the high priests of Israel. Yeah, and on it goes, and that's Baron Cohen for Ali G, and the first marriages to the Rothschild Jews. Yeah, who now charge £200 for 6 hours visit to see holy relics for Jesus that never lived, Hannah. Yeah, it is really quite shady. Yeah, and this is not going to light up my computer either to turn it off and on again. You notice that it was working perfectly at the beginning. So Rory Stewart is Tony Blair's governor for Iraq. He is also the actor that plays the physicist that allowed the Mars probe to get to Mars, and his friend in Edinburgh won the Nobel Prize for that, and Rory Stewart is just an actor. And he is the MP for Cumbria, and he was sent to Iraq to become the war correspondent there, and all of it is massive. I think we'll take this out of the plug. Try and turn it off. Yeah, it is absolutely sordid what they will do. Right, it's off. Let's plug it in. And it's lit up. So, we're still off the internet. my wife, Wi-Fi, Kaba secured. Okay, it's back online according to that. Yeah, and it looks as if we should get it back. But we're not getting it back. No Wi-Fi connecting now. Okay, so do you see how they were able to do that temporarily, right in the middle of my video, several minutes in, so that I could no longer. So there is Rory Stewart. Yeah, and he's a geek, and that is not an accident. Roderick James Nugent Rory Stewart. Let's get rid of this now. Okay, there he is again. The governor chosen by Tony Blair, one of the murderous syndicate, yeah, and totally tied into that Bush family fascism that runs America, right up to his replacement by Obama, who's a Piso newsman in the ancient armies for Rome. Yeah, his name is Suetonius, and that is one of the earliest papal bloodlines too. It's totally evil. And even Rainier of Monaco is a papal name. Roderick James Nugent Rory Stewart, FRSGS, is a British politician, diplomat and writer since May 2010. He has been the Member of Parliament for Penwith, near where Queen Victoria had her only legitimate baby, and the border in the county of Cumbria, northwest England. He is currently the Minister of State at the Ministry of Justice. Yeah, isn't it lovely? Yeah, and he looks like a really clever guy, don't you think? Like Ken Dodd. And Rory Stewart is the name of the fake-up councillor for Jedburgh that threatened me with execution when the Jedburgh floods occurred. Yeah, and he was at the meeting holding me down so that I could not ask more questions of John Lamont and the death camp cover that is his opposition in that election. John Lamont was fighting against Paul Wheelhouse, and the Wheelhouses are in the stories about the death camps at Mauthausen and the killing of all of the innocent Jews in the lineup. Yeah, it is absolutely tragic what they're prepared to do, and there is Beaverbrook's family. William James de L'Eagle de Buchan, 3rd Baron Tweedsmuir, that is John Buchan that made the joke of the 39 steps to World War II. Nazis and fascists, all of them, they became the Governor General of Canada as Beaverbrook came across here and befriended Oswald Mosley, and that is the launch of Lord Haw Haw, who was trained by Oswald Mosley, and that is my wife's bloodline. Sir Reginald Tyrwhitt, Sir Wally Cohen, Admiral of the Fleet, Sir Reginald York Tyrwhitt, Tyrwhoo, you get it? And the double agents that are Bertie Wooster, and all of them were doing it in the ordinary working men's pubs in Dundee last night. And if you remember Greg Hallett's statement that the Sinn is known about by all of the people of Britain, yeah, with the exception of those innocent families that are not in the Masons, Valerie Jane Lees, yeah, and the Rotary Club gets hit somewhere along those massive lists of tabs that we've yet to visit. Okay, Sir Wally Cohen is an English National Hunt amateur jockey and businessman. Tom Ward is a did we miss anyone else up at the top? Paul Watkins wins the Booker Prize, Hannah. Yeah, you'll have to plan a love story for him. Emma Watson, there she is. Yeah, she is an ultra-fascist. She is an actress that makes the movies with Tom Hanks, and all of it, even the trailer for that, is the sinister surveilling of the whole world, and her declaration that we are watching you. And she's an Armstrong with Craigie, and that is the launch of the Watson Mafia and J.K. Rowling's billionaire status as their propagandist to cover up all of the names that are used in the cast listings that are actually the names, like Tolkien's, of the world-owning bloodlines. Admiral Sir Hugo White played Royal Navy Admiral, Commander of the Fleet. And there's the Wolframs and the spinning wheels, like the Will Hay film, for tapping. I wish I could show you that. I think it's now been taken off. But tapping, so they ask Will Hay why he taps the wheels of the trains that the Carnegies have launched all over the world, and that the Rothschild of Vienna had built all over Eastern Europe. Yeah, it's just massive. 2 generations of Wolframs. There's one. Computer scientist, physicist, businessman, known for his work in computer science and American Mathematical Society. Robert Wyatt, English screenwriter, director. Sean Wiley. Oh God, and I didn't even select that. Where were we before that selected itself? British mathematician and World War II code breaker. The huge piss-take that is the Bletchley Code, when it is actually the Piso Code for 2,000 years already. Yeah, and he'll be from Hertfordshire or Bedfordshire, where they have museums to such things. Rupert Wyatt, Sean Wiley, codebreaker in World War II, born in 1913, Baroness Young, politician. Now I hope that they have not had time to take down Aung San Suu Kyi and all of those other celebrities that are on this list. There's a Robinson, a Raisin of Market Raisin, and every racecourse across the world. Sir John Mortimer, Lancelot Malallier, David Jessel, Peter Jay, television journalist, former BBC economics editor, Edward Impey, Sir Tim Hunt, Lord Hunt, Sir Peter Horsley, Tom Hollander. Where is Aung San Suu Kyi? Bruce Lockhart, we did all this yesterday. Poppy Adams, unless she's been taken down overnight. I don't know how they do that without shutting the site down. Dimsdale, Fraser, Gateskill, yeah, he's in yesterday's video. Henman, the tennis player, was in yesterday's video. Impey, Jolie, the comedian, that may not be in yesterday's. Sir John Mortimer, Julian Opry and the Oppenheimer next door, Ronnie Poulton Palmer, Adrian Rollins, Aubrey de Selencourt. Where the hell is she? To wit, to woo. She's gone. I cannot believe it. And that's a dragon century, and all of that is the baby Jesus that is the dragon. And today I could show you that on the other computer. Let's do that just in case the message has not gotten home yet. Oh no, we've not got the other computer on, sorry. I don't think. Let's try. There we are. So let's show you the baby Jesus and the dragon school joke. And I don't know how the hell they've taken Ang Young Sao Kyi of Burma down off that list. Unless it's for the Watkins, Wolfram, Baroness Young. Cressida Dick is there. She was in yesterday's story. Okay, and Antonia Fraser, Nate Packman. Oh, they're earlier ones. Lennox Barclay. There she is. Okay. The massive joke that was the head of the BBC taking that woman, inviting her into the Parliament building, and she is just a plant and false government, and that is the Nobel Prize winners and human rights campaigners. Yeah, and all of it is just a massive piste cannon, and you're just as guilty as the rest. Right then, so we need just to click on Papal Piso and take P&O out. Okay, so there is the word Nini and Dragon, meaning baby boy, which is Jesus in inverted commas. Okay, that's the launch of the Dragon School that we've just been profiling. Okay, and Christian is the name of Mandelson's boyfriend. Isn't it lovely? And they've got a secret island in the Caribbean for love-making Prince William. Poor commoner Kate, the prostitute that has been deserted by her virginal lover. Yeah, blonde with big tits, P&O cruises. Yeah, and there is the other baby Jesus story. Yeah, that is the representation of the Dragon School for Emma Watson and Brian Cox, or whatever his name was, Rory Stewart. Yeah, it's absolutely pathetic, and that is the way they rule the world, which is why there were so many resignations from the cabinet and all of the government yesterday. And the only thing they can talk about is the EU and how all of them have been sold into that syndicate so that the currencies can be totally corrupted, and Hannah Mary is asking for the government to fund her art galleries with all the world's fascists on their boards. Yeah, and nobody knows how much salary they get because you have to pay for that information. Yeah. Okay, so do you remember that it was mentioned above that Julius Piso called his father a dragon in the Revelations? Jesus is the dragon. That was because by doing so he was also pointing out that his father was a baby boy, and that is what the word used for dragon refers to. He was saying that Arius Piso was Jesus. Python's knights say Ni El Nino alias baby Jesus. Okay, Flavius Josephus was really Arius Piso, and all of his nicknames include the words Fania, Nini, St. Peter, Father God. Yeah, and it is the papal resident for Oprah Winfrey, who's going to run for office next time, because Donald is totally illegitimate like every other one, and all of them are massive Freemasons, which is why 2 nights ago Donald was on the telly all the time grabbing funny ears again. Yeah, and they have nowhere to go. and the man that is forget what his name is. Obviously they've got loads of relatives of the Piso family members in there, but David Davis and Boris Johnson have been the first to go in the new purges since I revealed Boris Johnson's bastard background and his family's roles in educating the monarchs in the world's most elite schools. It's total piss take. He is not a very sensible man, but he was a teacher at the Geelong school where Prince Charles and Rupert Murdoch attended. Anyway, what else can I show you? Okay, so there's the Rothschilds' ancestors. And you've seen did we show you Anne Young's South Keys profile on there? Oh no, it's away at the bottom again. Poppy Adams. And there's Cressida Dick. And there's all these plants that are and there's an Irons in it. That is the children of Jeremy Irons, and that massive. And there's the Ingram man. Yeah, that's the Ing and the pagan cults, and those are the headmasters at that school. Yeah, the Dragon School. Do you get it now? Yeah, there they are. R.K. Ingram, Inky, yeah, for the Piso Bible fake. And Hyde Dunn, yeah. Corporal, what's his name, in the Dad's Army cast. Where the hell is, there's Cressida Dick. Sir Hugh Gateskill, Eddie Impey, Hugh Laurie, Oppenheimer, Pew Pew, Barney McGrew, Nicholas Shakespeare, and I can't find her again. And there's the symbol and the icon for it all. Ardus ad solem, reach for the sun. Yeah, it is a total piss take, and that is what the family that is Piso has done to the world forever. Right, so what else? Yeah, so there's the cover up of everything that is the terror, and the man has just passed on, and his websites have been totally dismembered, and he's now buried and dead, and there's no one can rectify and put his images back up. And when you click on the Boston bombings, then nothing comes up now. At least on my website you can still see the fake up of that massacre. Yeah, all of it with the legs on and off and the victims fully conscious. Yeah, I think that would be there if we went back. There we go. Okay, so Peter Ayer's website has on the index the Boston Terror, and there's no images left on it, there's no story left on it, but on mine they've taken the second image off when that leg has been unplugged from his carcass, and that is a body double for the Hutchisons that are my next door neighbours and are on the bloodline at the front page of that website. Yeah, and that man is fully conscious, yeah, with his leg blown off just seconds before. There's no blood coming out of the leg, and all of it is a massive fake up. And there's the London Terror and Peter Ayer